Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as at last the Tennessee Titans have extended Jeffery Simmons, or as we call him on this channel, Big Jeff Simmons. And not only have they extended him, but they've gotten a great deal at it. 4 years. $94 million, of which $66 million is guaranteed. A nice $24 million signing bonus for Jeffery Simmons. And wow. Now, this does make him the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league. And this was inevitable because currently, and I actually want to show you guys the number on this so we can get as much context as possible. Currently, the highest paid defensive tackle in the league per year is, actually, let me change. I don't want everyone to see those details. So currently the highest paid defensive tackle in the league is Aaron Donald at essentially $31.6 million, basically $32 million a year. He signed a massive 3-year, $95 million extension. So we're getting 1 year more here with Jeffery Simmons, basically the same amount of money. And then before Simmons signed, it was Daron Payne, who was extended this offseason, just actually about a month ago, roughly, for $22.5 million. So we knew, anyone that, had any sort of context knew he was going to be somewhere between Aaron Donald and Daron Payne. I thought he was going to get about $26 million. So I thought it was going to be a 4-year, $100 million, maybe 102, 104, something like that. To get $94 million, it's such a bargain because, first of all, he's the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league, and you can make an argument that he is literally the second best defensive tackle in the league. Now, personally, and you guys could disagree with this, I still think Chris Jones is a little bit better. But that's fine because Jeffery Simmons is younger. So Simmons could easily surpass him this year and for the rest of humanity. And then Aaron Donald's going to retire soon. And then boom, Jeffery Simmons is the best defensive tackle in the league for years to come. And I think that is most likely going to be reality because I don't know what Jalen Carter and some of these other guys are going to do, some of these younger guys. There are some good players who are going to talk about some of them as well. So he's getting appropriately paid here. And some people don't value the defensive tackle position. I don't know why. Aaron Donald, is essential as to why the Rams won a Super Bowl. Chris Jones, is essential as to why the Chiefs have won Super Bowl. If you can get a dominant defensive tackle, if you can get a Warren Sapp, if you can get an Aaron Donald, if you can get a Chris Jones, look, you ultimately still need the offensive side. You still need the quarterback. I'm not saying that's going to be it for you. When you had over the Hainsworth, we remember those days. But it's a nice essential piece because it allows your pass rushers to be able to have more free reign, more one-on-ones, and your overall defense to be improved. It's such a valuable position when you're able to get it right. And then you look at the guys he's in front of, barely in front of DeForest Buckner, barely in front of Javon Hargrave. Now, upcoming, Chris Jones is going to get an extension. I don't know if it's going to be 4 years, 94. I think it's going to be 3 years. But I think he's going to get more per year because he's a little older. He's a 28 going on 29. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to give him that. But also, if they don't give him that, I think he's going to ask for a trade. He's going to go to the market because he still wants to make 25 plus million. And he should. He really, really should. That's what his agent should be telling him. So watch as Chris Jones signs an extension for more per year than this Jeffery Simmons deal. Watch as not only him, but you look at a Quinnen Williams, who right now is projected to get an average annual salary of $25 million himself, and he's deserving. He right behind Jeffery Simmons is one of the best young defensive tackles in the league. Quinnen Williams, Chris Jones, two defensive tackles that I am heavily anticipating are going to sign deals that are worth more than Jeffery Simmons per year. We got in early. This was important to me because I thought Quinn is going to get 25, same with Jones, and then we were going to have to end up paying Jeffery Simmons 26, 27, 28. But luckily we got in early here. We were able to get into a position to where we signed him for less per year than A.J. Brown. And while we should have still re-signed A.J. Brown, even for that $25 million, I think we can all agree on that. I like having Jeffery Simmons at 23. I think it's a great number. So we got the number that we wanted, at least the one that I wanted. Jeffery Simmons, look, I'm happy. Look, this proves that he did want to be a Titan. This proves that he did want to be a Titan. Now, with that said, just a little bit of honesty, you could have held out for $10 million more if you would have waited like another month or 2 or 3. But that's on you, dog. I'll leave that to you. If you're cool with that, hey, that's very humble of you. Thank you. Because I'm telling you, he could have held easily. If he would have held until July, August, he would have got his 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108. He would have got it. But he was eager. This is actually pretty eager of him to sign this extension in April. He didn't have to do this. So I want people to really be appreciative of this because he could easily put an A.J. Brown and we ended up trading him in April and whatever. He could easily put a Tyreek Hill. He could easily put a Devonta Adams. He was being a little shady with the social media, but hey, that's this generation. That's what they feel they have to do. I don't know why, but that's what they feel they have to do. So, luckily, this is now done. And again, this was never really a concern for me because there was no way we could be so stupid. I mean, you look at this franchise, and we're still being a little stupid because we don't have an answer for Tannehill yet. But regardless of that, there's no way, because we don't have Tannehill under contract, and he's getting old. We don't have Henry under contract. We had Byers under contract for a couple more years, and that's it. There's literally no one on this roster that you look at and say confidently they're going to be good in 3 years. There's no one. There's literally no one that you say that confidently in. I think Traylon Burks and Chigo Conko, but we still have to see more years. So you have to keep somebody. I mean, you have to build your franchise around somebody. Even if we're going to go full rebuild next year. We still kept Jarrell Casey when we went full rebuild in 2014 and 15. Although in 2014, that wasn't the plan. That's just what ended up happening. And then 2015, that's when the rebuild started. Although Ken Wisenhunt was convinced he was going to win games. So anyway, even if you're going full rebuild, you got to have a player or two. You got to have a player or two to lead into the next generation. You got to have your Jarrell Casey. You got to have your Delaney Walker, the veterans that are going to instill a winning culture for that next generation. Because if not, you're going to end up like the Giants were for 4 years, where you're winning 4 or 5 games every year. You're going to end up like the Panthers now, and we're going to see what's going to happen with this number 1 overall pick, where you're winning 4 to 5 games every year. Every year. You're going to end up like the Jets, where you're going to win 4 or 5 games every year, every damn year. They're finally now replenishing their roster with some decent rookies, but because they didn't keep some of the veterans, these rebuilds have been tough for some of those franchises. So I'm fine with the year or 2 rebuild. I don't want to do 4 or 5. And everyone's going to lose interest. All right. I mean, some of y'all, I know I'm a diehard fan too, but even I don't want my views to drop on this channel. It ain't worth it already. I'm kidding. But if we lose 3, 4 losing seasons, I don't know how much excitement's going to be around this franchise. So happy about this. Good. This is definitely good. Now, with that said, and it's definitely a bargain, and I'm happy for the bargain. This was necessary. This was expected. This was like what you should have done. This is like, hey, you have to take your kids to school. Like, I want to give him credit for doing the bargain here, but you're doing something that you're supposed to do, like Chris Rock would say. So I want to still see more. All right, this is, I expected this. This is a basic thing. We're happy to see it. We still need to see more out of this offseason. This is just the beginning. We still need to see more. The free agency was medium. It was medium. Maybe even, I don't know, maybe medium rare. I don't think it was medium well. And I'm not using that in terms of a taste analogy. I'm using that in terms of a well done versus like a rare and rare not being good. You know what I'm saying. So it's good. Be happy. He's going to be here. But we still have problems looming. What are we doing at quarterback? What are we doing at offensive line? What are we doing? It's nice to know that we have a piece in 2024 and beyond. But we still need a lot of answers here. So I don't want anyone to get too excited about this. It's a nice thing to talk about today. Today, we'll be happy today. Tomorrow, we have other things to worry about, big things to worry about. So with that said, we have a super chat from Kick It to the King Productions. So let's get to the super chat. And then if you have any comments at me in the chat at Sports Fan Entertainment, and then we will get out of here. Alrighty. I really should put this a lot lower. Or did I remove that? There it is. All right. Kick It to the King Production says, great deal. Now let's find our quarterback of the future. Hooker, Malik, CJ Richardson, or a tank for 2024. Got to nail the quarterback next. And exactly. I mean, exactly my previous sentiment. Look, this is what we have to do. Everyone agrees. If you ask 100 Titans fans, should we extend Jeffery Simmons this offseason? Everyone's going to say yes. 99 out of I mean, maybe even, there's always some idiots out there. So 95. I mean, God knows you can't get anyone in this country to agree on anything. But at least 95%. So if you're doing something that 95% of people say you should do and you do it, it's great. Yeah, I think it's great. The bargain here is what's really nice. It doesn't really matter, no. I mean, we're literally talking about, okay, if it was 104 versus 10 versus 94, okay, you're talking about $2.5 million a year. I mean, it's a nice bargain. Does it really matter? No, it just matters more for him. That's why if I was him, I would have just kept holding out. I'm going to just be honest with you. I'm going to be real. If it's $10 million for me, bro, I hold out for 10,000, okay? But that's just me. Although I don't hold out. I'm not holding out for my job, whatever. I'm doing it. But you know what I mean. So, hey, it's good for us, I guess. $2.5 million. That's the bargain. I'm just surprised we got it at that massive value. But does it really matter that much? No. Now, if it would have ended up being like $120 million, okay, now you're talking about like, okay, now that's a significant amount of money. 94 versus 104 or 105. It's $2.5 million, $3 million a year. Does it really matter? It's a nice bargain. It's not that much of a bargain in terms of our salary cap. It's his bargain that he's doing. So if anyone, y'all should just be appreciative of that. Super chat just came in from CLN Titans. I'd rather try luck getting Caleb Williams next year over drafting Bridgerton or Hooker this year. And I understand that, but we have to actually try our luck. And by that, I mean, you have to try to tank, which means you have to tank, which means get rid of Tannehill today. If that's the plan, then do it. We got to have a plan. If that's the plan, I mean, I feel like casual fans, normal fans, most of your, even some quote unquote, like strong fans, the fans that like, hey, they're Titans fans, they might even go to a lot of the games. You talk to them in the barbershop, you talk to them in Walmart, but they're not in the online communities. They don't read the forums, or maybe they're on Titans Facebook where it's a disaster and God knows what they're talking about over there. They still want Joshua Dobbs. They want us to trade for Joshua Dobbs. I feel like I'm okay with that, and a lot of y'all are okay with that. But that requires for you to trade Tannehill, trade Henry, most likely, and literally be the worst team in the league. And I would be fine with that. Now, I don't think Jeffery Simmons and Kevin Byard would be fine with that, but they're getting paid, so it's fine. But that's what you'd have to do. And even right now with this roster, and let's assume worst case scenario, because with Tannehill healthy, if he's healthy, I'm telling you, we're still gonna win 6 games, at least 6, at least. I mean, we're still in the AFC South. We're going to win at least 6 games. We're going to be like where the Saints were. At least we're going to be the New Orleans Saints of last year, at least. So you're talking about now maybe he gets hurt and then Willis goes in there and he stinks it up and then we can be bad if he's still bad. And I'm not saying that I want him to be. I'm just saying it's possible. So if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do that because I'm telling you, I want to see what they do if they end up taking a quarterback. The Bucs are going to stink. They're going to be in the running for Caleb Williams. They already have drama 2 going on. So the Bucs are going to stink. That's my prime contender right now for that. And then we're going to see how some of these other teams do as well. The Bucs are the number 1 team right now that I think is low-key tanking. I don't think they've admitted it. I don't think their fans even really realize it yet. And then depending on how the Cardinals do into the season, if they start, they might just tank and then just say, Kyler Murray, just sit down. We're done with you. Then that's an interesting discussion because they're going to have to trade him. So Cardinals, Bucs, if the Texans really end up passing, no, they're going to take a quarterback. Even if they pass on number 2, they're going to take a quarterback somewhere. They'll take one at 12. If they absolutely have to, they have to. And then I'm also looking at the Raiders, those and the Falcons. But none of those teams are trying to, except for the Bucs. I think the Bucs are low-key trying to tank. So you can join the competition. I think they're the only team that's trying to tank. You can get a head start because we could obviously do it. They're just kind of obviously doing it. They're like, well, we're just trying out Baker Mayfield and we're going to find out what's going to happen. I don't know. We think it's going to work. They're tanking. So the Raiders are trying. Falcons legitimately believe that Desmond Ridder is the answer. Well, kind of. They're flirting with quarterbacks at the same time. And Cardinals are just like, we don't know what we're going to do. Wait, who is the Cardinals backup quarterback right now? Let me look at their depth chart. Is it still... Yeah, because, when is Kyler supposed to come back? Yeah, so the Cardinals are tanking. Who are we talking about? They're going to trade Hopkins, most likely. Oh, they have Colt McCoy. Yeah, so they stink. But I just don't know. Will they move off of Kyler? We're going to have Kyler Murray discussions. We are going to have Kyler, because what could happen is, so we could be bad, but not bad enough. They want to move off Kyler, and then we're in Kyler Murray discussions. We're in Lamar Jackson discussions, depending what the hell happens. Because, again, I don't know how it's going to play out. Williams looks great. May, I think, is going to be great again in number 2. So I think if you legitimately try, you probably get one of those 2. And I will say this, even though I'm telling you, and I love saying this, I'm going to keep saying this, I'm not convinced that anyone else in that class is a franchise quarterback. I'm not convinced that Quinn Ewers is. He's still battling for his job against Arch Manning. Literally the kid just graduated high school. He just had his high school prom. And you're battling with this guy. He didn't even get to go to prom, actually. We're about to talk about prom's coming up. He went to homecoming and he left. He's just like, I'm going to Texas, guys. Peace. I'll see y'all at graduation. So he's battling with Arch Manning, who couldn't go to prom with his high school girlfriend. I don't know what Quinn Ewers is going to do. You're talking about Michael Penix, who's also kind of old, by the way. So you thought Hooker, that's a problem. What's the problem with Michael Penix? You're talking about KJ Jefferson. You're talking about some other guys that are unproven still at this juncture. I think one of those guys is going to solidify themselves, or one of the names that I didn't mention. But there's no one yet. So right now it's just those 2, Williams and May. And again, I'm not totally... May had a great season. I just want to see another one. Williams, I'm sure in what I saw. May, I want to see another one. I want to see another one before I'm buying. Because this play style, it's an interesting play style that I want to know if it's really sustainable. We'll see when it comes to Drake May. There's another super chat. This comes from Stanley Wilson, who says, I say cut Tanny and start Willis because we might be surprised he may be our future quarterback. Look, I'm down for that because, hey, if Willis does great. We don't have to worry about it. He's doing well, and we got our guy. He improved. And he showed us that he improved. Great. Now we can draft other things next year. Maybe, whatever we get Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow. And then now we're cooking. I'd be down. But I don't know what we're doing right now. I just don't know I think we're just waiting for the draft, and we really want to see what's going to shake out in the draft, because now, reports are coming out that, okay, the Panthers really want Bryce Young, and the Texans, they don't love C.J. Stroud, so they may trade down. That way they could get Levis or Richardson later. Now, I don't think we'd be able to trade with the Texans. So who would move up to number 2? Would the Raiders move up for number 2? I don't think so. So that's actually an interesting conversation. So with this is interesting, this report. And I don't know, I kind of buy it. That the Texans aren't in love with any of the quarterbacks. If Young goes 1, I don't think they want to take Stroud or Levis or Richardson number 2. I think they prefer to trade back a little bit and take one of them. We can't call the Texans. They're not that stupid, hopefully. Hopefully they are. Because let's just go up and take Stroud, and then y'all kind of have fun with Levis and Richardson for the next however many years. And then try again next year, buddy, or 2 years from now. Get you Zach Wilson, and then we'll be all right. Wow. So I don't know. We're going to continue to monitor that. But I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. We just got to wait for the draft. I think the draft is going to be a little chaotic. I think someone's moving up to 3, and I think it could be us. And depending who's available, I think we're gonna have opinions. All right, kick it to the King Productions. Thanks again for the next super chat here. He says if it's Bucks #1 and Titans #2 in the 2024 draft, again, I'm done. Yeah, reminiscent of just 9 years before with Mariota and Winston. And I was convinced that Winston and Mariota were going to work out, so I didn't care. And look how that worked out. It's funny how those things worked out. Next year, it was Goff and Wentz. Now, Goff is having a resurgence. Wentz stinks. And it's all because Wentz, I think it's just his mental. He just lost his mental. He's just apparently crazy in the locker room. I think Wentz was legitimately, obviously better than Jared Goff for a year or two. I don't know. So it's really mental when it comes to a lot of these quarterbacks. So we saw with Mariota, the guy was legitimately really good as a rookie and really good as a sophomore. He was giving us the vibes that, man, look out for this guy. And then the mental got broken. Sometimes the mental just gets broken, and it's very sad to see. All right, so with that said, I think that's going to do it. I think I got to all the super chat and all the comments that I wanted to get to. So yeah, that's going to do it for me here. Tennessee Titans extend Big Jeff Simmons to a 4-year, $94 million contract. We absolutely love to see it, but Rand Carthon, I still would like to see more. Until next time, this has been MJ, Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.